Joining us now on the Same Old Stripes podcast. He is a three-time academic All-Big Ten honoree, graduate of Purdue University, semifinalist for the Campbell Trophy in 2019? Is that the right year for the semifinalist of the Campbell Trophy? All those different accolades, man. AFC champion, finished top 7 in Pro Bowl voting this year among special teamers. But we're very honored today to be joined by Markus Bailey of the Cincinnati Bengals. Markus, how are things with you? How's your offseason going, man?
It's kind of taking a turn now that I've kind of started to get back into working out. Obviously, like I think anyone that is associated with the Bengals after the devastating loss, it was kind of, I kind of was just like, where do we go from here? You know what I mean? It just was so abrupt. You kind of felt like you didn't have any direction, at least for a week or so. So kind of just had to sit with those feelings and the outcome of the season, but then, had time to kind of reflect, and, kind of think about the really good things that we did. And so, yeah, that was kind of that first week or two. And then I kind of started to get back into some, just kind of working out a little bit this past, I guess, 2 weeks ago now. Just some general movement stuff. So I'm here. I'm currently in Cincinnati right now because I had to come for the day. But yeah, the first 2 weeks after the season, I just stayed in Cincinnati, and then for most of the off season, I'll probably be in Columbus. And I have some travel stuff coming up here, and on some weekends. But in March, I have a lot of travel coming up. And then once like April hits, I'll probably get back rolling pretty good before OTAs, and I look forward to my fourth year. So,
well, there you go. Well, it sounds like you got a busy March ahead, but I know once April hits, that all kind of starts rolling together. Anything you're really looking forward to in this offseason in particular? Any trips or any new things on the workout side, or something you want to get better at? I know that everyone kind of has an offseason plan, and it might not always go the direction they want, but just curious if there's anything you're really looking forward to as of now.
Well, like I just mentioned, some of the travel stuff in March is going to be super exciting. Like I'm one of the alternates for NFLPA rep. And so we all go out to Hawaii for like the annual summit there, like all the meetings in person. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be my first time. I know we have Ted Karras is our actual rep, Sam Hubbard and DJ Reader, and then I'm the other alternate. So I don't know if all the guys will be out there. I know Ted will be out there. I don't know about Sam or DJ, but I know Michael Thomas, because he's an executive. He's high up. He's high up in the NFLPA after year 11. But so I'm looking forward to being out there. That'd be cool. I get to bring my family out there for a week too. So I've never been out there. So that's going to be, I'm super excited for that. So that's one major thing I'm looking forward to in terms of like not football related necessarily. And then for me going into my year for my off season, I'm excited to have a year where like I've had 3 years of experience now, and I know what to expect, and I'm fully coming into the season. And so I just have an opportunity to do a good piece and just push the envelope for myself, like athletically and everything going into my my contract year. So I'm excited for any type of other opportunities I may get this year. All kind of depends on what we do in free agency and stuff like that. Yeah. So, I'm just, I know that like I was happy with how I played on special teams this past year, because I took a big step from my second year. But I know that like I have potential and capabilities to play at a high level at linebacker in the NFL too. And I've had a few opportunities when guys have gotten hurt, but I'm hopefully looking forward to be able to expand on that role going into my last year.
So as you mentioned, it's your fourth year and obviously the last year on your rookie contract, which is always an interesting window for players. It's an opportunity to really shine and make yourself a big price tag in free agency if it comes to that. But a part of this is obviously, you've been here for 4 years now, but now Lou Anarumo, your defensive coordinator, is entering year 5. And our buddy who did not make the show on the recording wanted to have us make sure we asked, and I want to get it in before I forget. How important is it to you to have Lou Anarumo, kind of known as kind of a mad scientist now around the league, returning and being that central leadership voice entering year 5. I know that you guys have had a couple different linebacker coaches in the room, but I was curious. I mean, how excited were you, and how much important to you is it that you'll have that same voice kind of at the head of the defense?
Yeah, I think the continuity is super important, and it's something that like I shouldn't take for granted, because I look around the league and there's a lot of people in situations where they're going to have to, adapt to a new system. And that's something I'm thankful that I'm not going to have to do. I think just with anything you do in life, the more time you do it, more experience you have, the better you get. And now that I've had 3 full years in the NFL, I think I have the experience of just like the competition level of it. And then of course, being in the system. So going into this 4th year within the same system, I think it's going to give me the best opportunity for myself to help the team be successful and for my own personal success. So it's definitely huge. And obviously, he has, as a defensive coordinator, has become more well known because we've had more success, and with the way that we've been able to make adjustments and things like that. Shout out to Eli Apple for coining the mad scientist term. But so yeah, I think it's there's a lot of things to look forward to for our team, our defense, and for myself personally going into this upcoming season. So
awesome answer, man. Well, we're looking forward to your 4th season. Billy's obviously looking forward to your 4th season, but he's sitting over there awfully quiet. Billy, what do you got for Marcus? What questions you got on your mind?
For sure, man. Marcus, one of the biggest questions I had for you, like you said, you've been able to get in there on linebacker in a few plays, a few spots. Probably, in my opinion, 2 of the bigger plays on this run. And if you could possibly just take us through those 2 plays. One, in 2021, the 4th down stop of Derrick Henry, where you were just a madman and coming through, and Willie can send you a little clip of that podcast after. But I was through the roof for you on that one. And as Willie has tamed it, the fumble in the jungle. If you could just take us through a couple of those plays and what you saw, what you kind of felt, and how you really stayed ready, because I know it's tough. And myself, from my background, I'm a college basketball player, coached in college, coached some high school basketball now. That's, I think, one of the most underrated parts about being an athlete, whatever the level, high school, college, youth level, pro, the ability to stay ready and to, kind of seize that opportunity, if you could touch on that.
Sure. So flashing to the 2021 season, leading, you referred to the play against the Titans in the playoffs, but I remember like the aspect of me staying ready wasn't too hard at that point, because I'd started like 3 games at that point. Yeah. because Logan was hurt. And then we had, Bocce and him going down because I had missed
that
one
game in Denver. Someone had COVID that game too. I think Jermaine might have had COVID.
Jermaine had COVID against the Chiefs the first time we played them. And so that's why I started that game. I started against the Ravens, and then the Browns. Obviously, we knew that we were the 4 seed.
The 4 seed there, right?
Yeah. So there was, but then I played significant snaps against, the Broncos. I played. Started against the Ravens, started against the Chiefs, and then started against the Browns. And so, like, the preparation part of it, I was like, at that point, I was like, okay, well, I'm playing games now. So it wasn't like that was something I had to get ready to do, even though I'd been doing it throughout the course of the year. And then I knew I was going to play snaps that game too, because we had a personnel grouping for their 13 personnel stuff. So I was going to be the extra linebacker in that. So I remember the preparation, I was super excited for the opportunity. And, I remember as we were starting to get into that run, I think that like at the time, thinking back to like the year before, we didn't like, we were like 4-12, and now we're like in the playoffs, and we won the first playoff game that we won in 30 years or whatever. And I think guys are like, let's see how far we can take this. It's kind of like playing with house money at that point. Like no one even expected us to do this. So they were I think I just felt so excited. I didn't really feel nervous at all. And so I guess when I got out there and the situation came up and it was 4th and 1, it was just like, and then realistically, I was in on the play, but I didn't really make it was a bunch of guys that made the play, like Logan, Jermaine, our guys up front. So I just kind of came in and was able to get the picture perfect looking hit on them. And it was really, really nice. But there was a lot of guys, and that just kind of speaks to, you know, collectiveness and the cohesiveness of us as a unit, where like one guy gets the credit, not even saying that I did on that play, but just like in general. But there's a bunch of other guys that are making the whole system work. So yeah, that was just another example of like that kind of boosted my confidence in my second year when I was played all those games, and then to be able to contribute to a play like that in that kind of situation, that just kind of like solidified how I, you know, felt about myself in the league. And then I was able to, you know, a lot of those guys like Jermaine and Logan, they stayed healthy throughout the most of the year. I played against the Falcons this year, and then Akeem also was hurt last year too. That was another thing that allowed me to get some more opportunities. But you know, a lot of those guys stayed healthy, and we were able to have a really good year. I think both Logan and Jermaine had great years this year. But coming back to the next play, you said the fumble in the jungle. I mean, that was, you know, because the goal line package, I mean, always been on that. Usually, you know, when teams come out in 22 or 23 personnel, you got 4 linebackers in there. You only have one DB to cover the receiver if you have one receiver package. So, you know, I mean, it's time to just get big and just, you know, you're in the trenches for real in the goal line there. And I mean, Jermaine and Logan made a great play on, you know, anticipating that he was going to try to put the ball over the goal line. That's great awareness. And then the ball fell in Sam's hand. And I just remember being like, okay, now we're taking off. And we're running with them. I'm trying to look around. I'm looking to my left and right. I'm like, okay, we should be good. We have 3 of us out here to block for him. And then Sam, because they just had a long drive, he starts running out of gas. And I look around, I see a huge figure like gaining ground on us. And I'm like, oh, this dude, like Mark Andrews is about to catch Sam. And I'm going to punt return. I was going to wall him off. That's right. I was going to wall him off, but as I go to wall him off, Vaughn pushes him to the left a little bit. And so it made me not be able to hunt him anymore. And then he's not there anymore. I look at my left. He's like 3 yards away from Sam at this point. I think Sam he said that he was trying to look at the Jumbotron, but I think he had it backwards in his head, like he had the mirror flipped. And so he was veering back directly into the path. I'm like, oh, he's going to make the play. I got to do something. So I know this is where all the controversial block happened, but I put my hands on the side of his shoulder, but he was, you know, he's running faster. So by the time I pushed him, there was a hand like on his kind of like back shoulder. And then just enough of a nudge to kind of like knock him off and try to make his last dive to pick up his feet. And then, you know, then Sam ended up scoring. I kind of looked around like, oh, please don't throw a flag. Like, I knew it was a little sketchy, but it had to be done. I did what I had to do. It had to be done. So it was that was really cool to be part of that play. And it was funny, like I only had like 3 plays on defense in that game. And when I after the game, you know, go check my phone, I'm like, oh my God, people are acting like, you know, I did the play. It was just because of the block. And but it was cool to be part of like a historical moment, and that's the longest return in Bengals history, I think.
Yep.
And Sam Hubbard, the Cincinnati kid, to take it back. So I'm happy that I was able to contribute to that at all. And yeah, I think it allowed us to win the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That time it was kind of a battle, you know, and the Ravens, you know, that's why AFC North game, you know what I mean? So they play great defense.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that was just a game-changing play. So
listen, you guys got any of the 3 guys in this room who really all matter. That's a clean block to me. So
look good to me. I don't have any issue with it. I think it is a clean block. That's what they teach you to block on special teams.
That's it, man. You lay one.
Yeah, you engage from the side first, then, you know, whatever happens after that.
That's it. That's it.
Made Darren Simmons proud that day.
I think definitely got some grief a little bit because I didn't, because they said that I could have. There's one guy to block, but I'm like, I thought he was gonna get. We had 3 of us out there. I thought someone else, you know, I was just running with them.
All we would hear is that you didn't take the effort to block. It was a no-win. It was a win for you because you couldn't lose. I mean, you made a key block that allowed a touchdown. What a thing! I think it'll be positive.
It worked out. So that's the main thing. So it just worked out. So
So you've already been very generous with your time. I'm hoping we can get one more question in. And I just think I've asked this in all our interviews with players, but I think the one thing I want to finish up with is, what do you want Bengals fans to know about Markus Bailey off the field? I know that we talk a lot about football, but I always feel like there's a little bit of flavor that we don't get to know about you guys off the field. And, some people, it's movies that they're really interested in. I think what did Alan George tell us, Billy? I can't remember, but
big Marvel guy.
Yeah, he loved Marvel.
I like Marvel too. I'm a big Marvel guy as well. Yes, but I don't know if I'm not going to steal Alan George's. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of facets to it. You know what I mean? Like I think that I'm someone that in the off season I like to travel when I can. I have a bunch of friends that I spend time with that I went to high school with that are not in the league or whatever, but I'm still like cool with them. And I just and not that it really applies for me per se, because I'm not like a household name. So it's not like I'm like, Joe Burrow trying to go out it's impossible. But I think I like just to, kind of be low key and just hang out with some of the guys I grew up with. And, I'm in Columbus a lot of the time. I like to travel whenever I can. I think that in the off season, I try to take time to I just ordered a bunch of books, and not trying to sound like pretentious or anything, but I'm trying to but I think I'm trying to improve as a human being in different types of books in different fields. In terms of my interests, something it kind of aligns with my profession, but health and performance from a scientific standpoint is something that that I'm really interested in. So have you ever heard of a Huberman Lab podcast where he's kind of a biohacker, but he yeah. So stuff like that where I'm trying to and it doesn't just apply to sports, but it does obviously for me, but just in general, how us as humans, we can become more productive, or we can, push the envelope and stuff when it comes to health and longevity and things like that. So a lot of the things that I'm looking into are things like that. And I have some really good trainers and coaches that facilitate in that kind of learning process. So I think I'm kind of just I like to spend time trying to learn things. I like to travel, spend time with friends. It's pretty casual, to be honest. So, yeah.
Right on. That's a great answer. It's actually really interesting. I mean, it sounds like something you'd be interested in outside of football, even if you weren't a professional football player.
Well, I mean, if I wasn't, there was when I first went to Purdue, I got on the route I was going to go to medical school potentially if I didn't. That's
the right school to go to for that. That's one of those schools.
So I'd all the prerequisites. If you're taking your courses, you can choose you just want to take the classes just to meet this health and kinesiology to meet the requirements for that, or you can take the visa ones that would allow you to apply to medical school if it came to that. I remember I'm okay, well I'll take the tougher ones then, and I took those. So if it ever came down to it, then I was going to be able to apply. But once I started having success there, it was okay, well, let me ease up on my schedule a little bit these past 2 years so I can some ball. And then, I was able to get, 2 degrees from there, but I'm my undergrad and got my master's because I had to come back in 2019. But I think that's something I've always been interested in. Even I remember when I was in high school, just trying to research things of supplements or certain ways to help myself recover, or how to help this, how to help that. And so I think that has driven me to be able to have success, because it's just I think I can gain an edge like that sometimes, you know what I mean? Yeah. With focus or recovery, or some guys may be a little bit more gifted, but I think I can make up for it on that. You know what I mean? So.
Well, a fascinating answer to wrap up today's show. Now I'm going to have to go watch some of those biohacking YouTube videos, because I was on a rabbit hole of that at one point. Markus, you've been fantastic, and you've been very generous with your time on today's show. Thanks so much for coming on, man. Really looking forward to it. We already talked a lot about your 4th season. We're looking forward to it, and hope you have a great offseason and all that good stuff.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for having me on. Yeah. Also, I appreciate – I didn't even say this yet, but I appreciate you like giving me recognition throughout the year, Willie, with like you post like some clips of like kickoff or whatever, and I really do appreciate that. You know,
Call it like I see it, man.
That's it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
Cool.
you guys.
Well, right on. Who day, my friend.
Good day, brother. Stay healthy, Marcus. Thanks so much, man.